Next question is, how do you stop yourself from allowing your emotions to run the show and get in the way of the things that you want to do? Great, great, great question. And so I'm going to first start off with saying this. As humans, we are emotional beings. It doesn't matter what your race, your gender, your ethnicity, your social status is. As humans, we are innately emotional. To deny that is denying human biology. We are emotional beings and we rationalize our actions with logic, right? And so let's take this universal truth and apply it to when we feel our emotions are running the show and we can't seem to um integrate the logic of we need to be doing this, but like I just feel all of these feelings regarding it. And so one of the things that I want to ask you is this, because when you actually are honest with yourself with regards to this is when everything changes. And the question is, what are you making your emotions mean about you in general, right? Just in general in life, when you feel a certain emotion, what are you making it mean about you? If someone pisses you off because they cut you off in the freeway, and then you get all pissed off, and then you're like, oh shit, I'm pissed off. What are you making that mean? Are you making it mean that you are an angry person or that everyone in the world is out to get you? Just something to be completely aware of. And when you commit to consistently asking yourself this question, what am I making this mean about me? That is when your whole life will change. And this is actually um how I would help myself if my emotions were to get in the way, because all emotions are temporary. No emotion is permanent. They're all fleeting. They will pass with time. This too shall pass. I'm sure you've heard that. And I know that is difficult to logically think about when we are in that situation where we're just heavily emotional. But when you can tell yourself, okay, so I'm very pissy today. I'm very pissy. Everyone's pissing me off. Um, what are you making it mean? Are you saying there I am again? I'm pissed off. I'm just an angry person. I am such a bitch. Blah, 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 blah. What is the story and the excuses that your mind makes? And because this is the key, because when we know the meaning that we attach to things, we can look at it objectively and we can choose a different meaning. So if a day comes and you're like, oh, I need to do the three things on my list today for my business and I'm feeling a feeling. I just, I feel like shit because I don't feel good enough. I'm comparing myself to the other people, blah 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 blah. Um, what are those damn stories, right? What are you making your emotions mean about you? Because emotions are emotions, they are fleeting, right? They are an unconscious process that just needs to be expressed and felt. And so when you can find your associations with regards to any emotion that you give, and then you can look at it objectively, that is when that is when that control stops, because you're now just allowing it to pass, and that emotion will also give you some messages that you need to know that we need. But at the same time, just that meaning is what is going to help us generate the power to then use our logic. And the second thing is lean into it, right? If you have one of those days, lean into that emotion, feel that emotion. I promise you, you'll not die. I do this all the time. It does feel like you're dying though, especially when you have panic attacks. I definitely had panic attacks last year and definitely felt like I was gonna die, but I'm still here. And so just leaning into that very, very uncomfortable thing is what's going to help you. And this is going to be very challenging at the beginning, especially if you're not used to it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This is challenging. So this is like training, right? You're training for a marathon of life by doing this. If you train for an actual marathon, it's very uncomfortable to run very frequently all those distances, right? Same thing here with our emotions. Over time, it's still not going to feel easy. It's still going to be uncomfortable at the moment, but you're more likely going to sit with it than avoid it. And the more you sit with it, the faster it'll shift, the better insight you'll gain, and you won't dread it as much. I mean, it's still uncomfortable. Like that's why it's a practice, right? And if you can see it that way, then that will help you during the times when things are rough. And number three tip, which is the last but very most important one, definitely have some compassion with yourself and find that balance between compassion and like calling yourself out on your bullshit and honesty, right? We can be compassionate while calling ourselves out on the bullshit because that compassion we know is going to serve us in the future. Because if we're avoiding doing the things that we know is going to help us get to where we want to be, calling ourselves out and say on our bullshit compassionately is really what's going to create that honesty. And sometimes that honesty is more than enough to shift that emotion and we'll just feel that sense of control again, which is sometimes what we feel is missing when we have these emotional roller coasters, right? So I hope these three things help. I will see you soon.